Well, I am live. It's about to switch over to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central, and no matter what time you're watching this, I'm going with Eastern and Central because that's where most of the weather is right now. Let me make sure I'm in the little circle. Gotta make sure my head is in the right spot. But anyway, what I was going to be saying is that things are looking pretty good. I'm actually going to close out Slack real quick so that way I don't get the dings. And we have a lot going on. And what we're seeing is quite a storm system, quite a nor'easter. And I'm actually jumping into YouTube right now on my phone to make sure that this is working and that the sound is working, because I just want to double check. I've had issues, as we all know, in the past with lives. And it's working. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining in, and gosh, what a system. We've been tracking this all week. I know that a lot of you folks have been really interested in it. So we're going to talk more about this nor'easter. Also, if this is your first time tuning in, my name is Mary Mays. I'm a meteorologist with Weather and Radar. We are your friendly weather app that's easy to use, and we're run by meteorologists. We give you all the information you need. It's run by a team here, and we are always fact checking and using our forecasting skills to tell you what's going on. And it's not just me working today, it's also Weather and Radar meteorologist Becca Parker. She's been producing graphics, and she's getting forecast updates out there and all the info you need as well. And you see her a lot on these lives, so I wanted to give Becca a shout out because I love working with her. Even on a Saturday, she's so much fun. I love the team at Weather and Radar. We all have such a good time together. But we are always working to give you the best forecast, and we have been just eyeing the system all week. So this is a nor'easter, and notice that rain snow line. New York is rain, but you go a little further inland and it's snow, and it's mainly coastal rain, inland snow. Now on the back side of this system, if you don't see that snow today, you'll likely see snow tomorrow. Now very quickly, I do want to talk about the severe weather threat in Florida, because it is quite stormy in southwest Florida. That's Marco Island right there. There's Naples, Cape Coral, and these storms do have the potential to be on the strong side. So I mentioned that Becca was making graphics today, and this is the severe risk, a slight risk in southwest Florida. And it's kind of interesting because you see this a lot in La Nina years, but this is a strong El Nino year. So it's kind of interesting to see that severe weather threat kind of far to the south. I did want to show you that first, just because there's a tornado risk, a 5% risk in southwest Florida right there, and then a 3% as you head toward Lake O. So it's southwest Florida primarily. Could see some damaging winds or a tornado. Kind of an interesting setup, and that's our severe weather threat for today. And I just wanted to briefly get to that because, it's a little stormy right now, and it was stormy earlier. It looks like things are calming down just a touch, but it was definitely interesting. So, through the rest of today, I think you're in better shape. Now, let's get on to the meat of this. Let me zoom out and show you the entire U.S. because this is pretty cool. You are seeing a system out west. That's our next big weather maker. And then this system that we've been tracking all week. We still have some snow across Minnesota, into the Great Lakes, into Michigan, into even the Chicago area, getting some rain, Green Bay, into Wisconsin, Detroit. And then you head into the interior. And right now, the heaviest of the snow is in Pennsylvania. And notice this orange color. This is actually freezing rain, and there's been ice along the Blue Ridge into the Appalachians. This is up to about 1/4 of an inch of ice that's in the forecast. It's kind of coming to an end, the icy portion of this, but that's a big deal. If you're in the Blue Ridge there in Virginia, good luck, because travel's very difficult. Actually, let me go ahead and check out the power outage. So poweroutage.us is my favorite. Looks like power outages, thankfully, aren't too bad. A little over 1,000 there in Virginia, 816 in North Carolina. So looks like the ice hasn't produced too much in the way of power outages. There was some ice this morning even in northeast Georgia, and then up along the Appalachians there, Tennessee into North Carolina. But up through the Blue Ridge in Virginia is where it's expected to be the worst. And you can still see that salmon color into West Virginia as well. So that's messy, messy, guys. And then you go along the coast here and to Washington, You go up through Baltimore, and you're just seeing plain rain. You're kind of right on that edge. Same story in Philadelphia and to New York. You go up a little further north into New England, New Haven, you're starting to see that snow, but that snow line has been making forecasters kind of pull their hair a little bit because it makes it difficult to see where the heaviest snow is expected. The heaviest snow expected, though, from State College in Pennsylvania up into portions of southeast New York, up into, even up into Albany as well. That's where we're going to see the most. I would say maybe central New York is where you're going to see that. And then this pushes up into Massachusetts as we head into the remainder of today. So you see that shield of snow pushing up. New York still staying in the rain. Same story there in Philly. You might pick up an inch, and you're going to pick it up on the backside of the system. Now, Boston is going to pick up, I would say, 3 to maybe even 6 or 8 inches of snow. But for the most part, the heaviest snow is kind of here in this area. And then you see the snow pushing up through New York into Vermont, into Maine, into New Hampshire. It's going to be quite snowy. So Boston, you're going to get, a switch over from rain to snow, and you're going to pick up a good bit. Now, in terms of snow totals, we've been working on this forecast quite a bit. It's a challenging one. And what we're seeing is in these darker shaded areas here, up to a foot of snow. So, even into the Blue Ridge Mountains, up through Pennsylvania, into portions of New York, even into the southernmost edge of Maine, but into portions of New Hampshire, Vermont. You're seeing up to a foot or more. Some high elevations could see 18 inches, so a foot and a half. But that's what we're looking at now. And if you're in like New York or Philadelphia, you're probably picking up an inch on the backside of the system. So it's going to be mainly rain, and then it's just an inch. Boston, though, you're going to see a little bit more. I mean, half a foot is not going to be unusual. And you're going to see, of course, the snow in Portland and into Bangor and Maine there. So it's an interesting setup. It doesn't give you maybe that snow you want in places like New York or Philly or DC, but you'll likely get a little bit on the back end of the system. So this is into your Sunday where we see the back end producing some snow showers. And that's it for that system once it moves out. The other thing, too, is that we are seeing some pretty rockin' winds. Let's see what they're doing right now. So you can see wind gusts 28 miles an hour in DC, 43 miles an hour in Virginia Beach, and it's quite a windy day along the coast in the Carolinas. And as this system continues to move along the shore here, you see 30, 35, 40 mile per hour wind gusts there in Boston. And that's going to be blowing snow, and that is going to make things very difficult for drivers. If you're traveling at all, it's major impacts with our winter storm severity index. So Boston, not looking so great for you folks. And also a little bit further inland into places like Springfield, into eastern New York. And then up through, Pennsylvania, it's going to be moderate impacts, some closures. You're going to have some issues getting around. Same story there in Philly, even into New Jersey. There were some flurries in New Jersey that I saw a little bit earlier. And then you go back into the mountains, into Virginia and these areas, and dealing with some patchy ice from that freezing rain. Now, this is not the only area seeing some action right now. We have our next winter storm that's already moving onshore in the Pacific. So this is the next system that rolls through early next week for the eastern half of the country. But right now it's already in the West Coast, and you're seeing some major impacts along the Sierra into the Cascades. You folks expect that, and if you live in the Sierra, you already have snow tires and chains and everything you need to get through those passes. But you can see some, inclement weather too in the Four Corners, even into Amarillo, into the Panhandle of Oklahoma. Out west, we're not forgetting you. You are quite active as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, because that's going to have a big impact on the country as we head into this next week. So right now, this is system number 2. We've got the nor'easter on the East Coast, and then we have our West Coast system producing quite a bit of rain and snow, mainly snow, and you've got coastal rain in areas like Portland where they're quite used to it. Las Vegas, snow in the mountains there, some rain. You got rain in LA. It's been a wet week for you folks. And then, you go up into Montana, down into the Rockies, starting to see some snow getting closer into Denver today. And we go into tomorrow, and you see this system pushing to the east. And bringing all of that active weather. There's plenty of winter weather advisories, winter storm watches in effect for this part of the country. And then you keep pushing the system east. This is Sunday. So at this point, our nor'easter is moving out. This is Sunday, and you can see our next system is moving in. So let's take a look at what happens on Monday. You start to see a surface low developing right here in the southern plains, and this is going to be tapping into a lot of Gulf moisture. Notice it's getting stormy along the Gulf Coast. You also have another system out here in the northwest. This is a very active pattern, and it's like winter just decided, hey, let's go ahead and go. Let's get started. So this is Monday, and this is around noon, and look at that. It is just winding up, getting really active, really heavy snow across the heartland. You got some stretching up into even the Midwest there. And this just keeps going, and it's going to be quite stormy along the coast and into the southeast by Tuesday. So as this winds up and sends that cold front through, you're seeing rain up into the mid-Atlantic, snow on the backside of the system, including for Chicago. And you're seeing strong storms on the southern end into the southeast. That's going to be another system to watch. We still got a couple of days to keep an eye on it, but this is what's next for us. So I want to show you very quickly our severe weather outlook for Monday and Tuesday. So this is Monday, and you've got a slight risk in Houston, New Orleans, Mobile, Alabama. So that's that line of storms that I just showed you that's going to be developing along that cold front to the south. And this is not an unusual pattern to see this time of year, but there's those Gulf storms. You're going to be in the 60s. It's going to be warm air along the Gulf, and you're just tapping into all of that moisture. And then the severe weather threat shifts east on Tuesday, and you've got a slight risk from Tallahassee up into Wilmington, North Carolina, into Savannah, Georgia, Orlando, Tampa. So this is going to go all the way down into Florida on Tuesday. So there's going to be a pretty big severe component with this, in addition to the snow on the backside, on the cold side of this. So there's a lot going on with that system as well. This could be a pretty significant severe weather event for some folks in the form of possibly a few tornadoes, but also wind damage. We could also see some flooding from this as well. So there is a ton going on with the forecast. Speaking of flooding, excessive rainfall, New York into Richmond, Virginia Beach, right along that line between the snow and the rain, we could see some flash flooding. It wouldn't be, the biggest deal in the world necessarily, but it could be substantial for some folks. So just focusing back on our current radar, remember you can check in at weatherandradar.com or on the Weather and Radar app. It is so easy to use, and we keep you updated with, fresh stories every day and fresh maps, so you know what's going on in your neck of the woods. But right now we're checking out that rain snow line. New York City, it's just getting rain. You go a little further in, and it's heavy snow. It's kind of a funny thing, but you're snowy in Scranton, into College Station there, or State College, excuse me, not College Station, State College, up into Syracuse, Albany. Yeah, it's just it's a little bit of a messy nor'easter with that icy component and then that coastal rain, and you've got the wind going right now. So it's just going to be a blustery day, difficult travel, and of course we are tracking those storms in Florida as well. So a lot going on with this system. We're going to be doing more of these lives Monday and Tuesday because we've got more severe weather in the forecast. Also, meteorologist Irene Sands has your forecast tomorrow. She's going to provide an update, give a recap of this system, and talk about what's ahead as we head into this coming week. So there's a lot going on, and we want to make sure you stay alert. So download the Weather and Radar app. Turn on your app alerts. It's really easy. It gives you everything you need to know in the palm of your hands. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Saturday. I really appreciate it. I hope I gave you the information you needed, and we'll be here. If you have any pictures of snow, of rain, lightning, severe weather, as long as you can take them safely, we'd love to see not only your pictures, but your videos as well. You can send them to us through the app, or you can reach out to us via social media. We are on Twitter. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, we're on it. We're on Threads, and we want to make sure that we have so many ways to reach out and talk with you. So feel free to talk to us, and I hope this was helpful, and please just stay safe and warm out there, my friends. Talk to you later.